Thank you very much for giving Doordarshan this opportunity to talk about some of the hot controversial issues which is now painted by different people by different style. So there is no news going to anybody, only views are going to people. In that context, let us ask few questions with you, and it will be a great pleasure for Doordarshan to have you here. So in all your previous positions, as a minister or as a social worker, you always stand for the good governance. You never give any way out for doing a lesser good governance. So now in the position of a governor, are you feeling it?
Actually, basically, what is governance? Upholding of the law, and law of civilization, not law of jungle.
Absolutely.
Civilization, according to ancient Indian tradition, civilization means absence of Matsya Nyaya. What is Matsya Nyaya? Where the strong devours the weak, suppresses and exploits the weak. What is civilization? The very meaning of the civilization is, as I said earlier, absence of Matsya Nyaya, and additionally strong ensuring that the weak are able to live with dignity. It is their human right. For that you need a set of laws, because sometimes we say constitution, sometimes because constitution itself is a law. You need, and that is in our tradition is best expressed by the expression maryada. Everyone has a line which is not to be crossed. What is the function of the law? Law draws a line. This you should not cross. That maryada you have to uphold. So, if you are asking me about my current job, the current job is only about that. Two things you will have to keep in mind. India has been politically, this subcontinent, this nation, this country has been politically fragmented since centuries, rather millennia. But culturally and spiritually has been one unit. I would say because of the shared common values, but formally this unity was spiritual and cultural unity. A son of Kerala, great Shankaracharya, he gave special attention to it, and he made people aware that culturally and spiritually you are one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it was because of that foundation that in 47, or after India became free, Sardar Patel could complete the job of political unity of India. So, if you are living under a particular system for long period of time, your mind gets used to that. For us, fragmentation, political, not cultural and spiritual, but political fragmentation, we have lived under that fragmentation for thousands of years. Whereas unity, national unity is a new phenomena. It's now, it started, you can say that during the political size of jurisdiction of the British Empire or some earlier kings was quite large, but not same as the present day India. And that was under compulsion, force.
Correct.
Now it is a voluntary unity. So everything we consider our unity very precious, and every precious we must be extra vigilant about protection of the precious things. Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. Eternal vigilance is also price of the unity. Why? Because our mental, what in Sanskrit is called manas, has lived under those conditions of political fragmentation for a very long period of time. And our leaders in the Constituent Assembly were very conscious of this fact. Therefore, they wanted to have governor in every state who can ensure that centrifugal forces do not re-emerge and do not assert themselves, and they are in no position to pose threat to national unity of India. How this can be done? By adhering to the laws of the nation. And the job of the governor is to keep an eye on that only, and to ensure that the business of the government is conducted in accordance with the provisions of law and the Constitution. And naturally I'm oath bound, and to the best of my ability, I am trying to perform the duty, obligation which has been placed on me.
We can see that in many of your actions, because your previous self and current self is almost same. Now, let us go straight to the controversy currently, because once you said, it is good to relieve me from the chancellor post if cases are like this. You have your own obvious reasons to do that. Now, if the Kerala government, Kerala Assembly is coming up with a new ordinance to remove governor from the post of chancellor, and if they come out with that, will you sign in that, or what is your stake on it?
I will come to that little later. Basic thing is that do we subscribe to the principle of autonomy of the universities or not? If you don't want to give autonomy to the universities, if you don't respect the dignity of the intellect, that tradition you don't want to respect, turn the universities into government departments. You can run them as government department also. India, its own tradition subscribes to that. But all over the world, there is certain respect for the academics and academic institutions. And the governments everywhere, particularly in democracies, they have voluntarily accepted that the executive shall not interfere in the functioning of the universities. It is not Kerala government alone when somebody says that this is a job which has been created by the Kerala Assembly. It is not just Kerala Assembly. All over India, in every state, it is the same arrangement. It is the same arrangement. So, I have been telling this government right from beginning, be true to what you say on paper, be true to what law you have passed. You have given statutory duty to the chancellor. He is the appointing authority, therefore he is the one who has the power to discipline if something wrong goes. Here, formally authority belongs to the governor, and government wants to interfere every day. They want their nominees to be appointed. When I saw that they are not respecting that maryada, that law. And they are forcing me, they are coming with the opinion of the Advocate General, recommending one name for the University Vice Chancellor, asking me to scuttle the process of selection, pressurizing me to appoint that man, and when I resist, they come with the opinion of the Advocate General. At that point, I thought to myself that they are forcing me to do irregular and illegal things. Therefore, I should ask them to relieve me of this duty. But basically, I know they cannot do it. Why they cannot do it? Because the state government heavily depend on UGC. UGC will not accept it. The academic world will not accept it. So what was my, if I know that they will not do it, then what was my purpose? My purpose was to make them aware and make them understand that they have no right to interfere. They realized it, wrote me 3 letters with some if and buts. I rejected. For 30 days, every file which came from the universities, I directed to the office of the Chief Minister. Why did not take? They can't take that decision. Now, whatever they are doing only as a public relation exercise. And remember, at that time, now situation has radically changed. Now the Honorable Supreme Court has said in the case of the Bengal University, state government has no role in the appointment of the Vice Chancellor. That is what has made the government jittery. Because what they are seeing that in future now, and since all the appointments are in the light of the judgment of Honorable Supreme Court, all the appointments are illegal. Supreme Court has laid down 2 criteria. One, if there is presence of a non-academic in the selection committee, the process becomes vicious, illegal, and appointment is void ab initio, which means from the day one. And if the selection committee has recommended only one name, process becomes illegal and vicious. Here, in every case, they say, what is shame? Every university appointment has been made illegally. Why? Government is not ready to accept that universities are autonomous institutions, they are not department of the government. And that is to ensure that in every state all over India, this is not in Kerala alone, Governor was given the responsibility to be Chancellor so that government does not interfere in the universities. Earlier, at the time when I wrote letter to them, was meant to create public awareness, to make them understand that they do not have the right. But now the Honorable Supreme Court in this judgment has said government has no role in the appointment of the Vice Chancellors. Therefore, now you are asking me whether I will sign the ordinance or not. If they are every state, some threats were held out by some states that they will remove the governor. They could not remove the governor. But after the ordinance reaches me, although I have seen the press reports, but I would like to go, before taking final call, I would like to go through the contents of the ordinance, and if I am convinced that I am the target personally, they want to remove me, then I would not like to sit in judgment. I can't be judge of my own cause. Therefore, I have decided that I will immediately, it is only after going through the content. If they are proposing something else, I do not know. But if you go by the press reports, then I am the target. If I am the target, then I won't like to sit in judgment. I will refer the matter to Honorable Rashtrapati ji.
In the loophole they are bringing in is like 2007 Madan Mohan Commission, Fungi Commission.
It's okay, they have every right. I'm not challenging their right. So they can take the decision on their own also, but they should have some sense of honor. When I wanted to be relieved of the duties of the Chancellor, then how they had cajoled, how many letters they had written, and final letter, when I approved the draft, then only it was sent to me. So do they have any sense of honor? Only recently you have given me written assurance that you will not interfere in the affairs of the university. Now Honorable Supreme Court has made it clear you cannot interfere in the affairs of the university. Even if suppose I allow this to happen and I put my signature, it will be challenged. What they are proposing itself violates UGC regulations. So it won't stand the scrutiny of law. But I told you, since they are targeting me personally, if I come to that, after seeing the draft, if I come to that conclusion, then I won't like to sit in judgment. I will refer it immediately to Honorable Rashtrapati ji.
So your decision to ask Dr. Sisa Thomas to take over the Kerala Technical University, there was 3 options in front of the state government, and you didn't take their recommendation. Why was that?
Because Honorable Supreme Court has already said they were referring to the State Act and making recommendations. Honorable Supreme Court has already said state government has no role in the appointment of the vice chancellors. And even if their act says otherwise, to the extent it is repugnant to the UGC regulations, the UGC regulation will prevail. So it is very clear. Secondly, I have taken care that even the acting vice chancellors, because KTU is not the only one, other universities are also going to be vacated. So I am clear in my mind that even acting vice chancellors, only those persons will be appointed who meet the requirements of the UGC regulation. Professor, what name you said?
Sisa Thomas.
Professor Thomas is a professor. As professor, she has worked for more than 10 years, and 10 years is the requirement. What the government wanted to do, what government had recommended, was the name of first they recommended the name of the digital university. There was no question, because that man himself is under kill-out. So there is no question. Then they recommended the name of the secretary of the department. Now for secretary of the department, now there is no place in the university. Why? In the light of the judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court, you cannot appoint anybody except a professor who has taught for at least 10 years. Then only name can be considered. And I am going to apply this criterion even in the appointment of the acting vice chancellors.
So if you look at any past governors, you took a very bold move now, asking all the 9 vice chancellors to resign within 24 hours. And
actually, I did not. That was a suggestion for an honorable way out. Absolutely. Since they did not accept it, they wanted to, some of them were ready to resign. But LDF, papers have reported that LDF directed them not to resign. What LDF has got to do with this in itself is a proof that there is politicization of the universities. What LDF had to do with this, and they are giving them direction. So you are saying bold. I have not taken any bold decision. I have tried to do my duty in the light of the Honorable Supreme Court's judgment. And why there is this, the whatever excitement or support we see, why it is there? Because people in Kerala, particularly the young people, boys, girls, they had lost hope. The number of young students who after 12 migrate from Kerala to other states. Why? Because they feel that universities, jobs other government jobs are reserved for the ruling party cadres. So, after losing hope, if you are going out and suddenly you see something happening that may change the situation, that hope is kindled.
As you said about now, why the children are going after the 12th grade outside universities? Maybe because of the credibility of Kerala universities has gone a lot.
4 years back, now I am here for 3 years, I have completed. A year before, Bharat Ratna Dr. C.N.R. Rao has written a letter. He is chairman of the committee which decides about the awards to universities in Kerala. He has written a letter and he has said that Kerala has one of the best school systems in the country, but the children migrate to other states, and therefore the higher education, the research or in new areas has come to a complete halt. And he says the state of the higher education is in doldrums, and not only he. Last year, Professor P.N. Panikkar, if I remember, P.N. Panikkar, who was Vice Chancellor of the MGU and later Vice Chairman, he has written an article saying exactly the same thing, lamenting the poor condition of the higher education in Kerala. Who is responsible for it? If you will keep interfering at every level, you will have no respect for the autonomy. You would like your what should I say, unqualified and underqualified persons to be appointed to various positions. Why? So that they remain indebted to you. And then they can be used to appoint your relatives and your though people whom you want to favor. They may belong to your party, they may be your relatives, they may be anybody. They remain open to the highest number of cases in Kerala, where appointments have been challenged on the ground of political favoritism.
Current drama happening in Trivandrum streets about the corporation.
Yes, right from universities to corporation to any department. Young people have lost the hope. They feel all the positions will be given to persons not on the basis of merit, but on the basis of their political affiliation or on the basis of their relationship with those who are in power.
Do you think you're a little overreacted with the medias? Because no media is covering straight news. All views are there.
No, I have not. This is not a very happy situation. I do not feel very happy about asking any person to go out. And I have not said get out. I said either you go out or I am going out. But problem is, it is very difficult to make distinction between CPM and Kerala. It is very difficult to make distinction between Jamaat-e-Islami and media. I do not consider them media. They are propaganda organs of certain ideologies which justify violence. And I do not know if you are about the CPM. You see it on a daily basis. Even governor is being threatened by them. The chief minister is saying you will have to face dire
consequences. That is what he was asking.
Dire consequences. Ministers using violent language. Media one, I do not know if you have, you must have seen the report. There are many scholars who hold the founder of Jamaat-e-Islami responsible for the reign of terror in the world, not just India or Pakistan or Bangladesh, for reign of terror in the world, even Middle East. They say that after the writings of Maududi, many new movements sprung, which resorted to violence. So sometimes Some people need to be spoken in a language which they understand. I don't consider them media. I will not, I ask you, are not there other media channels who have criticized you? I did not ask them to leave. They are ideological, they belong to certain ideology. They are not criticizing me. They are carrying a campaign. They are part of a campaign, vicious campaign. So I make a distinction between media, and they are absolutely free to criticize. If it is fair, I will accept it. If it is not fair, I will ignore it. But them I don't consider media.
You had a long political career before you become the governor. I think it is too early for you to become a governor also. But during this political career time, as well as when you came to Kerala first also, you were praising about the Kerala model development and the Kerala people's contribution to the nation's building. Now recently, some of your comments are
about individuals,
Okay.
not Kerala.
okay.
Kerala though started fascinating me when I was in the university. It still fascinates me, Kerala society, and I think this fascination is lifelong fascination.
Do you think the current model of Kerala development program?
I did not talk about any model. I'm fascinated by people of Kerala.
Absolutely, because that was my last question I want to ask you
I did
about.
not talk about the Kerala model. I never talked about Kerala. I'm fascinated by when I see how caring people of Kerala are. And as a sociology student, I had come to a conclusion that this element of compassion, which is palpable you can feel it. If you are in distress on the road, the first Keralite who will see you, man, woman, will rush to help you. This, and I came having this background that I have studied sociology. I tried to know why this element is so strong. And my own conclusion was, not based on any study, that possibly because Kerala was a matriarchal society, and Dr. Radhakrishnan says that compassion comes to women naturally. Men, in order to be civilized, they need to cultivate this quality. So my fascination for Kerala began when I was a student in the university. Kerala was subject matter of our syllabus. Being a matriarchal society, sociology students have to study. So my fascination started then. It still continues, and I'm sure it will last the whole life.
Your initial days in Kerala as a governor, you had a very good relationship with the government.
I tried my best. You know how relationships can be maintained or can progress. There are certain, I mentioned to you about Maryada. If you respect the Maryada, the law passed by the assembly places the responsibility to run the university on the governor in his capacity as chancellor, in pursuance of the objective or respect for the autonomy of the universities. Now if you don't respect that Maryada of the law which you have passed, and you keep interfering every day, sometime the tipping point will come. I tried to accommodate as much as he said that I'm trying to run a parallel administration. I said, give one instance and I will put in my papers that very day. They have not been able to give one instance, and I can give you 1,000 instances where they have been interfering in the university. That is not their domain. And now the Honorable Supreme Court has made it absolutely clear in the Calcutta University judgment. State government has no role in the appointment of the Vice Chancellor.
So as a Chancellor, what is your advice and recommendation to uplift the images of Kerala's universities?
only one way: stop interfering, stop politicizing, stop violence in the universities. Kerala's people are so capable and competent. The moment politicization stops, the moment autonomy is respected, Kerala will become hub of, Kerala will attract talent. Today our youngsters are migrating to other places. I tell you, you stop the politicians from interfering, Kerala will start attracting talent not only from all over the country, but even from abroad.
As a question with a light vein, as you said already about the Kerala people and your affection to them. Recently, one of the interview, you said about when you board into an aircraft, everybody giving a standing ovation to you.
I did not say ovation, but everyone was, I could feel, everyone was so excited and wishing me best and all that. So I was overwhelmed by their response.
Okay, so do you think post governorship, do you wish to have a house in Kerala and stay? Because you have a lot of friends in Kerala.
Not just friends, even if I do not know the person, I have told you the reason why I am so fascinated by Kerala. Here people have that element of compassion in them, and this impacts me greatly. I mean, that is kind of dreamland for me. Yes.
One last question, which we thought we don't need to ask now, but you had a very strong comment against the Finance Minister Balagopal on his speech.
Right. I ignored the comments of other ministers because they attacked me personally. What Finance Minister did, he posed a challenge to the national unity of India. He said a person born in UP cannot understand the educational system of Kerala. He is trying to stoke the fire of regionalism. I talked to you about what the members of the Constituent Assembly had in their mind when they were making provision about the government. They were aware that the centrifugal minds are still there. And governor is needed because many Congress senior leaders were also not in favor of the office of the governor. But they have thought that it is absolutely necessary in order to build to ensure that there is no threat to the unity of India, and a proper healthy relationship develops between the center and the states. So office of governor, they came to the conclusion, is absolutely essential. And what was the basic thing? Government business is conducted in accordance with the constitution and law, and to keep an eye on forces of separatism. What he has done, he has violated his oath, which I had administered to him. How he can enjoy my pleasure? The central leadership of the CPM, they understand this. They, despite the fact that the finance minister and many other ministers and chief minister, they were present in that meeting, Politburo, I know for sure, and I have been informed by one of the member of the Politburo, that the central leadership refused to take up this issue, and they said that at this time we will talk only against the institution of the governor, not against Kerala governor, because if we speak, then light will shine on the statement of the finance minister, which will create problems for us in northern India. So even the central leadership, and I have repeated it more than one time, and nobody has denied it from the central leadership. So central leadership understands the ramifications of the statement of the finance minister, if the chief minister does not understand. But even then, if he is pursuing a dogged approach, I'm not surprised. Why I'm not surprised? The man, this is a party where the convener of the LDF is barred from flying by airlines for his unruly behavior. One minister trashes Constitution of India, he's sacked, but leadership does not say a word against him. Another former minister and now member of the assembly looks like as if he picked up some Pakistani document, read it and reproduced it in his Facebook posting. He uses Pakistani language to describe Kashmir. Nobody speaks against him. Nobody even tells him to be mindful of the language which he is using. So I am not surprised if a person who is challenging the national unity enjoys the confidence of the CM. I'm not sorry. He has not said a word against those who trash the Constitution, who use Pakistan's language to describe Kashmir. He did not utter a thing. They also enjoy his confidence, so I'm not surprised at all.
Okay, as a last question, what is the message you want to give to the Kerala people? Because the reason, not only the Kerala people, the whole nation is now looking at the governor, state government.
The only thing, there is nothing personal, but I will not allow, as far as my jurisdiction goes, that violation of the law, violation of UGC regulations, and erosion of the autonomy of the universities, or conduct of the business of the government in a manner which is not in accordance with Constitution and law. If any such thing happens, I shall intervene. It is my duty to ensure that the constitutional machinery does not collapse in the state.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.